Hi, I'm Dr. Kathy. I'd like to share with you how I like to shape a story to make it sound more interesting to a listener. I like to think of a story as being in the shape of a kite. And when you see that head of the kite, it catches your attention. That's what happens in a story. But you need three things to make that opening of the story grab your attention: the who, the where, and the when. When a listener has those three things, their imagination kicks in and they see a picture. Then you have them. That's when you can start the story. And the story is the tail of the kite. That drives the kite or the story forward. That's the action. Different things happen until one big moment. That's the very exciting part of the story. And then it resolves. My favorite question to ask someone to get a great story is, do you have a scar? I have lots of scars. And I'd like to share that story with you right now, but I'm not going to tell you where the scar is because I want that to unfold in the story. This happened when I was only 2.5 years old. So now you see a mini me, Kathy. It was spring, so I needed to wear a jacket and I needed to wear my shiny pants and my little rubber boots. My mother put me at the back door and she told my older sister I had to go out and go with me to take care of me, but she didn't want to. What older sister wants to take care of a little child? So she hummed and hawed and fussed with the laces on her shoes at the back door while I ran out across the yard. I was heading for one thing, my favorite thing in the backyard, the swing set. I wasn't paying much attention to anything else in the yard. Who would at the age of 2? We were in kind of a new house, and there were no fences around our property. But the house behind us had a large black dog, and that dog happened to be outside. And as soon as it saw me, it ran straight towards me. It stopped, sniffed, growled a little, and then leapt. It knocked me down and took a great big bite right out of my cheek. I started screaming. The dog was barking. The dog kept biting, and this alerted my mother and my sister to the fact something terrible was going on in the yard. They came charging outside. They dragged the dog away. They pulled me up, ran me into the house. My mother put my head into the sink under the faucet and ran cold water on my face to see what had happened. But she saw all these pieces of my face going down the drain. My sister was screaming and crying. My mother wrapped my head in a towel, put me in the back seat of the car, and drove me crazy across town to the hospital. I think it was the fastest she ever drove, according to her. I was in the hospital a long time. I had plastic surgery all over this side of my face. So I have a scar and a scar and a scar and a scar and a scar. Lots of scars. But I think I turned out okay. No, nothing happened to the dog. But something happened to my sister. I didn't find out till a couple of years ago. It was interesting. I had forgotten about the incident. And my sister came to see me. And she said, I have to apologize for something. I said, what? And she said, for the dog attacking you. I said, why does that bother you? She said, every time I see you and I see those scars, I think I should have been there to protect you, and I'm really sorry. Well, this was many, many, many years later. And I'd gotten over it. But she hadn't. So when I think of the story now, I realize it's not just my scar story. It's my sister's scar story too. Now, when you ask someone a story like that, you ask them questions about it, you get the details, and ask them how they felt about it at the end. And when you tell your story, do the same thing. You can discover all sorts of wonderful things about people and yourself if you tell stories.